Hello, my name is David Ben. Tonight I'd like to show you my database project for my Android class. So for what this project is we're going to display a list of words. It's going to have an SQLite database built into the program. We're going to be able to add words to it. That was the tutorial. I have a requirement for adding extra stuff to it. And the extra thing that I added is the ability to click on the list of words and delete it from the database. So I usually have two separate branches, the master branch and then a my mods branch. I forgot to make the my mods branch this time, so we're kind of going to get all of it at the same time. So to start, the main activity, simple setup. We've got our on create. We're going to create our floating action button, which is going to let us navigate to the new word activity and enter a new word to add to the database. We are wiring up our recycler viewer here, which that's just going to let us view our items individually in a list. Our view model, which is going to give us the access to what we need that list and stuff to be able to do when we're viewing it. This is one of the additional items that I created, this set on click listener event. I got an on item click and an on item long click. And specifically the functionality I wanted to show is here I added the delete ability when you press and hold for the long click. So we've got our create options, and for the menu we've got our on options item selected, so we can get the items and things that we need. And of course our activity result here is when we're doing a new word activity, we're looking for the results to make sure everything's kind of good there and then give a reply or a message. So the new word activity, short and sweet. It's basically got a edit text and a button that lets us add it to the database. Our word list adapter is just that. It wraps around our recycle viewer and lets us be able to display all those words in kind of a list format. The recycle viewer, instead of creating, let's say if you had 1,000 words, it doesn't create 1,000 items on your phone. It creates, let's say, 20 items or however many that can fit on your phone in its size. And then as one of them scrolls off the screen, let's say if you're scrolling up, then it will take that block that's already used and allocated in memory, put it back down on the bottom with another word that's coming up next right before it's viewed. We got our on create methods, our binders that holds everything together, our set words abilities right here so we can add words, item counts, some more settings and stuff to set up all these view holders and everything we need. Again, this is some of the extra items I added that was not on the tutorial, the event listeners here. And of course we can get our word item by looking for it by our view binder. We got our on clicks and long clicks and our on click listeners things that we've added. Here we've got the word data access objects, we call them DAOs. This is basically defines what we can and can't do in the database, and basically plays as the interpreter between the Java and the database side of things. You can see here we got some annotations, the DAO, insert and query, and the delete. These are given to us through the Room persistence libraries and APIs. This is the equivalent to like Hibernate in just regular Java or Spring if you're familiar with any of those. So it basically just does all the reading and connections to the databases for you. Very minimal impact on what you have to do in order to get it. Versus the old way to get items, we would have to list through all items and manually code all that in extraction of the data and wrap it all up into lists and everything. And here the Room persistence kind of makes it nice and quick and easy, lets you focus on the business logic and hides all that implementation of building a database. It's pretty simple here because our word basically is just a string, but if you had a business application, enterprise level, where you have large items and many fields, it could be very tedious. So this is the creation of our database itself here for the SQLite database. We've got it set to be a singleton, so we can, if it exists, it returns it. If it doesn't exist, it creates it. And yeah, this is just all these callback methods, has to do with accessing it, populating database async. So when it loads up, we're going to put these 3 items into the database right there, and then we're going to populate it, and we're going to do that, of course, asynchronously. We got to do in the background. We're going to clear the database. That's why this delete is all here, and then we're going to go through and insert all the words that we put up here. Now you don't want to do that if you're making a real application you're going to use and deploy, because you'll clear all the data every single time. I guess it could have its uses, but for this demo it just keeps it nice and clean and easy to test while we were working on it. Alright, so the next thing is your model. We have more annotations from the Room library. And here, that entity recognizes it. This is what your table in the database is going to be named. And of course, this is your primary key annotation for the word. And primary keys can't be null, and we set what we want the column name to be right here, word. Next, we've got our repository. So this kind of handles some more of that background interaction, kind of separates a little bit of the coding and the database and how we want things to interact a little bit easier in the background. So we got the DAO right here, and we've got our list of words that we're going to get. We've got our repository. We're going to set up all this initial setup. We've got our get words. We're going to return that. We've got our inserts. We're going to access the DAO and insert it, as well as the deletion. And the inserts and the deletes are going to be asynchronous. As you can see here, we built these methods, insert async and delete async. They run in the background and use the DAO to access the database to do things. And the last item that we have here is the word view model. So this kind of encapsulates the repository and kind of keeps us a nice clean interface. You see the word view model is what we use up here in the main activity. So other things that's going on in here, we've got the layouts, the activity layouts. This is that floating action button you'll see in a minute for adding new words. We got our new word activities, just to edit text, and a button, and then click on the button to save it. Of course, context main. Our content main, this is going to basically list out that recycled view, and our recycled view is right here. So that's showing us what that's going to layout's going to be. And for other resources, we've got some colors that we set for our styling, and we got some styles right here that we've applied. So we're going to run this now, and this will load up, and you can see from our database, those are the 3 words that we have coded here and have created and populated the database. So we have the cobra, crocodile, and dolphin. This is the floating action button, so I can click on that, and it's going to navigate to the new word activity. I'm going to put in a new word, sword, and hit save. And now that we can see it gets added. Let's do another one. How about night? And now we have 2 words added to this. And additionally, the extra functionality, the deletion. So I did 2 things, mostly for discovery. A short click just pops up with a toasted click, but the long click is how I delete something. So if I click and hold, or on your phone press and hold, you can see it deletes those items. And of course I can go and add more words back to our list. And you'll also notice that when we add these, they're in alphabetical order because we sort them in alphabetical